When we talk about your personal style, we are wanting to go deeper than just the standard labels of introvert or extrovert, people person or focused. Understanding the key characteristics of your personal style indicator will help you understand why you make decisions and why you might respond to an action differently than others who have experienced the same action. You will recall what shapes our personality, and including our environment and role models. These, along with our DNA, determine our personality. They also have contributed to our particular bias or view of the world. So the value of having a keen awareness of your personal style is that it will be a solid indicator of how you will respond under stress. My personality profile indicators are SC. They indicate that I need to be in a quiet place when I'm under stress. My wife Sonia, on the other hand, is an ID. She needs to be with people. Understanding my and her needs helps us to build a stronger relationship in our marriage. Beyond our relationships and from the point of view of being in sales, knowing the key characteristics of your unique style will help you develop a solid personal growth plan. You'll be better able to deal with conflict. You'll gain an advantage of knowing how you negotiate. How do you communicate with others, and what are your blind spots? We might not think we have blind spots, but let me tell you, we all have them. Your personal style, as described by your DISC profile, will show you the degree or intensity of each indicator. In actual fact, you are comprised of all 4 personality styles, each with a different intensity, and typically you are dominated by 2, sometimes 1, and maybe 3. We'll look at the more common combinations later in this course. You'll recall that in our introduction to this course, we briefly discussed what a stereotypical salesperson would be like. The labels introvert and extrovert are often used, and the stereotype salesperson is usually labeled as someone who is extroverted. How we think of this stereotype and our definitions of extrovert and introvert can mislead us. As we go into looking deeper into the characteristics of the 4 main types, we need to pause for a moment and understand what an extrovert actually is. I like how Dr. Ken Keyes in his book, Why Aren't You More Like Me, defines extroversion and introversion as a person's orientation toward their environment. Many people would describe an extrovert as people-oriented and loud. They like to be the center of attention. And this is sometimes an indicator of extroversion. A simple way to think of it might be to consider whether or not the person is trying to control their environment or if they respond to what is available. Now, my Sonia, she's an extrovert. She matches some of the stereotype, but not all. One way I know she's extroverted is how she parks her car in the Costco parking lot. It will be packed with cars, and parking will be at a premium. But she will assume a space will come available near the front, and that's where she goes first. I, on the other hand, am an introvert, and I'm going to respond to the parking lot full of cars and circle around to where I know I can get a space, usually in the farther reaches of the lot. Thinking about how a person is oriented to their environment is a strong clue in whether or not they are active or passive, extroverted or introverted, and will help you in your identification process. You may already have an idea of your personal style, and perhaps you've already taken advantage of the offer of an in-depth assessment or taken an assessment someplace else. In our next several sessions, we're going to take a more in-depth look into the characteristics of all 4 DISC styles: dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. I look forward to seeing you there.